little bit about your career.
Never a really big break. A lot of times where I thought, oh, this is it.
Did you lose hope at any point?
My daughter keeps like, Mama, you need to get on TikTok. I said, girl, I ain't get on there with them kids on TikTok. Oh, no.
What do you tell them about why the love is still so rich all these years later?
You're both going to change. It's all right. That's what's supposed to happen.
I need to meet him.
Hey, what's going on?
Give a little bit of advice to some of the fellas watching.
You got to learn how to agree to disagree.
Hey family, it's Carlos Watson. What a special episode today. Tabitha Brown, the award-winning vegan chef, she's stopping by. You've also watched her on The Chi. You've seen her do stand-up comedy. This is a wonderful person and a wonderful woman. You don't want to miss it. Hey Tabitha.
Well, hello there.
How are you?
It's so good to see you, hon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being had. Now, where are you today?
I'm home. I'm in LA.
You know what? That's so funny because I know LA's your home, and yet because I think you grew up in North Carolina. Is that right?
Yeah, North Carolina is, home.
Do you have other family there as well? I mean, besides your husband and your kids, do you have other family?
No, it's just us.
Marriage is about communication, all right? And from what I gather, Tony, you don't communicate. Now, this woman will go to the end of the earth for you, and all she is asking you to do is keep her in the loop. That's right.
Hey, tell me a little bit about your career. So you grew up thinking you were going to be an actress and a performer.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't know what acting was. As a little girl, we watching The Cosby Show. Every Thursday night as a family, that was our thing we did, And I remember telling my mama, I want to be Rudy's friend that ring the doorbell next and come in. And she said, oh, that means you want to be an actress. And so from that day, I spent the rest of my life trying to figure out how to become this actress, right? Because I didn't know anybody in my town. And so then in school, I had a music teacher named Miss Stanley. And I said, Miss Stanley, I want to be an actress. So she started putting me, we had a little music plays and stuff at school. She would give me little roles and stuff. Because I would say, this is my only way to perform is in school here. And then I started doing like church plays and fashion shows, anything I could to get in front of people. And so my mama was like, I know that you really want to be an actress. She was like, but we don't know anybody. But my great aunt was a town seamstress. She made everybody's clothes. And she was like, you also make clothes. Why don't you go to school, to pursue that? So you have that to fall back on while you're trying to do your acting. And I thought it was a good idea. But then when I went on down there to Miami, I was like, I'm supposed to be acting. When I'm famous, one day I'll have my own clothing line. That's what I said.
Right.
And then my mama had knew somebody that told her if I ever wanted to come to California, I could come out there and rent a room. I went out there and my husband was my boyfriend at the time, was gonna come out and we were gonna get our own place. Was not living in LA. I was in Orange County, far away from Hollywood, okay? When he came out there, he was like, this don't make no sense. You are working 2 jobs, you ain't doing no acting. We need to go back to North Carolina. Save up, because it's cheaper, 1 year. Then move to LA so you can really pursue your dreams. And so I was like, all right, I guess, So we moved back to Greensboro instead of Eden.
Right.
And that 1 year turned into 5 years. And a baby, and we got married. We was both working, got a house and cars, and a forgotten dream. I convinced myself that, girl, you can't have that dream no more. You done got this baby. Y'all out here working jobs and got all these new responsibilities. Take that out your brain, But then God woke me up one morning in Greensboro, and it felt like a earthquake had hit Greensboro, North Carolina. I remember my bed shook and woke me up.
Yeah.
And I heard a voice that sounded like thunder. And the voice said, this is not the life I planned for you. And I got scared. I was like, what is that? And I started praying. I was just like, Lord, if this is you speaking to me, I need you to show me a sign today. And I told my husband what happened, and he probably thought I was a little crazy. He was like, oh, all right, And then later that day, we was on our way to the mall. And Buster Brown came on the radio. He was a local DJ there. He was like, hey, this is Buster Brown. I got a new TV show on the WB, and I'm holding auditions looking for a female co-host. And I was like, that's my sign. Yeah. I prayed for a sign. This is it. I'm going to this audition. Because we in Greensboro, no auditions ever happened. So we went to the audition and I booked the job.
Wow.
And that's what opened my mind and my heart back up to dreaming. And then I told my husband, now it's time for us to move back to LA. And he was like, oh no, we got this baby here, we doing all right. I was like, I gotta go. I'll go back and forth and you can stay here. He was, oh no, you're not gonna do that. And so we saved up about $8,000 and moved to LA in 2004 and been here ever since. So I did a lot of straight to DVD movies, Blockbuster when that was a thing. And a lot of little commercials and testimonials and music videos and a couple small roles on shows over the years. Never a really big break. A lot of times where I thought, oh, this is it. And then it wasn't, And all this time I was always still working like a 9 to 5. I was working at Macy's for about 5 years. When I first got to LA though, my mom got sick and my world stopped. So I was back and forth for about 3 years until my mom passed away. I went back home to take care of my mom. But thank God that we had already moved, and that's how God works. Because if I had known how sick she was when we moved, I'd have never left.
Did you lose hope at any point during that?
Absolutely. When I got sick in 2016, I started having this terrible headache in the back of my head. And it stayed there for a year and 7 months, every day. Never was not one day that went by that the pain wasn't present. There were days that it was more tolerable, but it was always there. I was at the doctor every week, every month, MRIs, CAT scans, blood work, everything would come back normal. So the doctors would be like, we don't know what's happening. We know something is attacking your body. We just can't tell you what it is, And so that made me frustrated because I knew I was not well. I mean, I would have days where I would fall when I would walk. I lost my vision today. I was having manic panic attacks. Depression was heavy. Mm-hmm. And I really thought God had forgotten about me. Although I was praying, I was only habitually praying. I probably did a handful of jobs during that time. I had still worked for about 6 months, my 9 to 5 job, before I couldn't even do that anymore and I came out on disability. And I was on disability for about a year. I just fell into a dark place and hope was definitely lost. And then I had a dream. And in this dream, I saw myself on a show, but the screen was small. And I was like, okay, now I woke up and my dreams, that's my gift. I've always dreamt things and they come to pass. When I heard that voice that said, start doing videos, I was like, Lord, I don't want to do videos because as an actor in Hollywood, they always tell you, if you do videos, they ain't gonna take you serious. And then a couple of weeks later, my daughter came home from school and she told me she watched a documentary at school and it was What the Hell. And I was like, oh, teenager coming home telling you to watch a documentary. I was like, well, she's like, Mommy, I think you should, see it. We watched it as a family.
We have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country.
We're on par to have 1 in 3 people be diabetic in the next 25 years. That's crazy statistics.
Have this very dangerous situation.
And that's when I decided to do a 30-day vegan challenge. And I was like, I'm desperate. I don't have anything to lose. I have taken every drug. I was getting shots and injections in my head and my spine, everything to try to feel better, and nothing was working. And so we did a 30-day vegan challenge, and in the first 10 days, my headache disappeared. And after the, day 30, I told my husband, I said, I'm not going back. This is gonna be my life. I'm gonna go vegan. And the day I said that, the same voice that I heard that told me to start doing videos whispered in my ear and said, now tell people what you're eating. So I started doing videos and told people, hey, y'all, I'm going vegan. And when I find vegan options, I'm going to just share it with y'all, whether it's me cooking in my kitchen or, I find a new product, I'm going to just share. Disability had ran out. Yeah. Savings was about gone. Right. And I was broke. And my husband is my partner, not my provider, right? We work together. Right. And so I was like, I'm going to go drive Uber because then I can have an open schedule. He was like, Lord, here you go. So I started driving Uber in October. And then by December 30th, I was dropping somebody off by Whole Foods and was like, well, I'm a new vegan. Whole Foods always got a vegan option. I'm going to go ahead and give me a little breakfast. And I went in there and got a sandwich I had never heard of. It was a TCLA, vegan bacon. I was like, vegan bacon? And throw me a little pickle and onion on there. This is going to be good, And I sat in my car and I ate the first half of that sandwich so fast. I was like, oh, Lord, I need to do a video to tell people I found a new vegan option.
They got a TTLA. And that's a tempeh bacon, tomato, lettuce, and avocado sandwich. I already ate 1/2 of it, but good God almighty, oh my God.
I did a video, I posted it, and I went on back to driving Uber. I didn't think nothing of it. And then by the time I got home and turned my little, notifications on, my phone was just going crazy. That video had like over 50,000 views, and I was like, who who watching this video? Like, who are these people, you know?
Right.
Next morning, had over 100-some thousand. I told my husband, I said, I think I'm going viral. He said, well, what that mean? And I said, I don't know. And 4 days later, Whole Foods reached out and they saw the video and was like, we saw the video. We love you. We would love to work with you. And I became their brand ambassador for plant-based living.
Hey y'all, it's me, Tabitha Brown. I am here at my local Whole Foods market. Came to do me a little vegan summertime shopping.
That's what started this whole journey for me online and you know, showing my vegan recipes and inspirational videos.
You will get through this, okay? You're all right. I know. You can't even see how tomorrow will come, but it will. And you gonna make it.
And literally changed my entire life. By 2020, I had been doing it for about 2 years and touring and having my own little merch. And I was making really good money. I was doing really well. I had like 500,000 followers on Facebook and 200,000 on Instagram. But my daughter came home again, honey, your children, listen, if you listen to them, honey, they'll bless you, okay? I'm very proud of the child. You did a good job. She was like, Mama, you need to get on TikTok. I said, girl, I ain't get on there with them kids on TikTok. Oh, no. She said, no, listen, you could be like the TikTok mom. Everybody loves you. You can do your recipes and your inspiration videos, the same stuff you do on, you know, Facebook. And I was like, girl, I don't know. You don't get but 60 seconds. Like, how in the world am I going to do a recipe in 60 seconds, you know? And so I was like, okay, let me do it. She kept on pushing me. And so I did.
Today is Splurge Day, so I fried me some oyster mushrooms, like fried chicken, but it ain't.
Would you say it don't look vegan? Well, honey, it is. And in the first week, I went viral on there. And then the pandemic started happening and the world started shutting down. And in the first month, I had 1 million followers. And then a week later, I had 2 million. And then it just kept growing.
When did you start to feel it in your life? Like, did people start stopping you on the street? Were people hitting you on DM? Were old friends calling you? Like, when was that moment when you realized, not just because of the numbers on the screen, but in your life, that things had changed?
I had booked the shot on Showtime, right?
What's this?
A peace offering.
For what?
I want to be honest with you. And I had to live out there for a while. So I got an apartment there and I was by myself. And I was like, oh, it's a Whole Foods about, 6 blocks. I'm gonna go walk to Whole Foods. That's when I found out, oh, wait a minute, Tab, you might be famous.
Right.
I couldn't walk to Whole Foods. People in their cars were like honking and stopping. And I was like, people on the street walking by me, it was the double takes. It was like, oh, that can't be her. And they were like, oh my God, it is. That's when I knew. I was like, I Ubered back home to the apartment, right? And I called my husband. I said, babe, I think I'm famous.
And who are they? Do you know? Who do they tend to be?
I am one of the rare people that my fan base starts at about 6 months and it goes to about 99. Everybody. I got a children's show.
Come on inside the room. Open your heart and mind. You never know what you find when you let a little love inside. Hey.
So I can be out and the children may recognize me before they parent. And they be like, Miss Tab, because I have a children's show.
Yeah.
And then, but the grandma who been on Facebook for years, like, girl, Tab. And then her teenage grandson be like, hey, Mama Tab, Auntie Tab.
Yeah.
It's a wide range. They are not Black. They are not white. They're not Asian. They're not Indian. They are everything under the sun.
I have to ask you about your cookbook.
Oh, okay.
Talk to me about how that came about and what people were going to enjoy about it.
Funny enough, before I wrote Feeding the Soul, I was working on my cookbook for like a year or so before 2020 came, because everybody kept saying, Tab, please put these recipes in the cookbook. So I was trying to do it on my own and, without anybody's help. And, it was a process. Then when the pandemic happened, I had to put it on hold because I was like, people don't need a cookbook right now. They need their souls fed, which is why I did the inspirational book first. So now the cookbook will come out later this year, and it is cooking from the spirit because I don't use no measurements. We just be cooking. Every recipe stems from a story, a reason why that recipe exists, So I tell a little story and then I give you the recipe in my own way, in my own words, But I guide you through. That also helps you trust yourself. If you like more, honey, put that in there. That's your business, And you cook it and you taste the way that you like your food to taste.
And how did you and your husband meet? How did you guys meet?
Oh, honey, we grew up together. We were both from the same small town in North Carolina. And I think we probably first met or saw each other, I feel like maybe like 3rd grade, but 5th grade is when I really, knew who he was. And then he was my boyfriend in 8th grade.
No.
Yeah, we dated in 8th grade, honey. And then when it was time to go to high school, my sister, she's 6 years older. She was like, girl, you're going to high school. It's a lot of boys over there. You don't want no boyfriend. So I told him, I said, hey, listen, my sister said there's a lot of boys over at the high school. So we're going to have to break up. I got to go see what my options is over there. All right. So he hated me. Oh, honey, he couldn't stand me all of high school. And then I got over there and wasn't even nobody over there. I was like, who was all these boys my sister talking about, right?
Right.
Then after high school, we both
Whoa. You didn't date all of high school?
No.
Wow.
Listen, I would see him and, I always feel this little thing in my stomach. And then he always said it was guilt. He said that's guilt.
I like him. I need to meet him.
Yes. And so towards the end of our senior year, we kind of had become friends again. But when I went to school in Miami, he was in school in North Carolina. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I just was like, I think I love him. I just think I'm in love with him, Called his dorm, woke him up, woke the roommate up like it's an emergency.
Right.
And so I just told him, I was like, listen, I know this might sound crazy, but I just replayed all these thoughts I've had over the years. And I think I'm in love with you, And if you don't think I'm crazy, call me back on this number tomorrow, right?
Wow.
That next day, the whole day went. I said, oh, Lord, he think I'm crazy. And then about 5:30 that evening, my phone rang.
Right.
And he was like, did you really call me at 3:00 in the morning? Talking about, you in love with me? And I was like, yeah. Then we just started talking and, we agreed that we would see each other when we went back home for, break.
Yeah.
And so when I drove up, he was standing on the porch and that feeling just came over me. And I got out the car and I was like, well, hey, cheers. And he was like, hey, Tab. And honey, we've been together ever since that day.
I'm sure a lot of your girlfriends probably smile when they hear this story because who doesn't like a good love story?
Yeah.
What do you tell them about why the love is still so rich all these years later? Because a lot of times it's not still like that, right?
Love is always there. The liking each other can be an emotional roller coaster.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
We love by default.
Oh.
But we got a heart. We've been together 24 years next month.
Yeah.
And there've been days where you're like, Lord, you still here. Lord, you're getting on my nerves, But the love is still there.
Yeah.
But we've been through so much together and it has not always been great. But I think the thing that people don't realize is that, and they don't go into marriage with this thought, because we were so young, we didn't go into it with this thought either, but we learned over the years. You're both going to change. We're both going to change.
Yeah.
And it's all right. That's what's supposed to happen.
Right.
But we have to embrace the change in each other.
Yeah.
Right? Even the changes that don't feel good. We have to figure out how to maneuver, but also embrace the person who it is.
Where is he right now, Tabitha?
Look, let me see if he in here.
Ask him to come in. I want to meet him.
Let me see. Right. Honey, he was in there watching the game. Look at him.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing better because I met your wonderful wife, and I hope you hear how she talks about you, because everybody should have somebody who talks about them the way she talked about you. She said some really nice things just now.
I appreciate that. I expect her to after 23 years.
I love on this show, and I'm always asking people for advice for other people watching. Give a little bit of advice to some of the fellas watching. What advice do you give when your buddies see what you guys have built together and what you guys have maintained and nourished? And when they're asking you for advice on finding that wife and finding that relationship, what advice do you give them on love?
You want to find somebody who you can be your authentic self. You want to find somebody who you don't have to try to be Mr. Cool all the time or try and be Mr. Romantic all the time, where you can be goofy, you can be silly, you can laugh with. Try and find someone who truly understands and appreciates being authentic.
Right.
And you as well got to be appreciative of that. I think a lot of times as men, we have a unrealistic view of what our spouses are supposed to look like.
What do you both know about arguing and about disagreeing. Because one of the things I appreciated Tabitha was just saying is you got to embrace the fact that your partner is going to change. If you're lucky enough to be together for a number of years, you're not going to be the same person. And so that's naturally, I assume, going to lead to disagreements, sometimes going to lead to arguments. What have you guys learned about how to disagree, how to argue, how to move? I don't even want to say move past, because sometimes you got to move through stuff that's difficult. But what have you guys learned about that?
You know, we were together very young.
Right.
So we mastered arguing.
Yes, sir. I always, when people ask me anything about,
I know what you're going to say.
I got some really great advice early on in our relationship.
From who?
From my father-in-law.
My dad.
Right. He made me look at arguments and disagreements and kind of put a value on what are we talking about. And he said, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? When we have a disagreement about something, depending upon what we're talking about, I'm like, what are we talking about? You know, don't lose sight of being happy to make a point of being right. And I live by that. And that's gotten us a long way, because a lot of times Tab be wrong.
Now you know.
But I'd rather be happy, man. I'd rather be happy. So I don't put up the fight, man.
And you know the other important thing?
Yeah.
You got to learn how to agree to disagree.
Yes. Hey, man, I'm sorry I pulled you away from the game, but I'm a romantic at heart. I love when I hear people seem in the most genuine, authentic way to be saying something wonderful about somebody else.
No problem. Well, hey, it was nice to meet you.
All right, I'm gonna end with rapid fire. Most beautiful place you've ever been to in this world?
You know, I would have to say home in North Carolina, you know, on the front porch of my mama's house, just sitting out in the country.
What is your song?
Oh, currently, I get joy when I think about what he's done for me.
Let me hear you say joy when I think about, yes.
That's it.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, gosh, I have so many, but I love The Color Purple.
Who would you like to meet that you haven't met yet?
Felicia Rashad.
If you could have dinner anywhere in the world, if you could make dinner anywhere in the world, where would you do it? Where would you go and hold Tabitha's food festival?
Where would I go? You know, I really want to go to Africa.
Tabitha, I'm gonna let you go, but not let you go for good. I'm just gonna let you go for now. It was so nice to meet you.
Oh, honey, thank you. Please thank the team for me. If y'all are watching, honey, thank y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. So, shall we end it the way that we ended?
Let's do that.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you. I appreciate you for having me. All right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Until the next time, honey, may we all go on about our business, okay? And have the most amazing day. But even if we can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. Very good. God bless y'all.
Tell me you didn't need Tabitha Brown in your life today.
As I was listening to her, I was thinking about just all of these wonderful people we've met this year, right?
Yeah, it's been really good.
And I really mean it's been such an interesting journey.
But it's like everyone is synchronistically coming our way to help us with our journeys.
Yeah.
And she said, we need to stop being afraid of changing in our relationships. And I think sometimes the men get scared when the women start changing, like you're evolving, you're more free now. I'll never forget when I started wearing my hair natural. It was like scary for Addy. He was like, what you mean you gonna stop perming your hair? I was like, I'm gonna let it rock out. It's like they get scared, like that's not who you met. But I'm changing. I'm becoming more of my sacred self. And It's like we have to embrace the changes and grow together and not always think that it's going to be scary. She's going to be different. Her hair is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was really powerful for me.
Yeah.
We're not raising each other. We have to love each other wherever we are and hope that that love fosters something great. Let people be who the they want to be. Right, that's it. Once we each get ourselves together, anything that we enter, any relationship, everyone has to come whole to these different relationships and they'll sync properly together. But when the self is not lined up, nothing good can happen out of that.
Hey, hope you enjoyed Tabitha as much as I did. What a wonderful woman. I love her story, love meeting her husband. I love the way they laughed together. And I love the way that she has trusted her dreams and pursued her dreams and stuck with them. Make sure you check into her new wonderful cookbook when it comes out and just enjoy her in general. She is such a special and wise person. All right, listen, every weekday, we got something that's worth your time. You know there's magic on this show. Come and see us.